Listen up, all fight fans and fitness junkies. You've been listening to me talk about Jocko Fuel for a while now, and if you've been waiting, the wait is over. This August, you can score a massive 30% off on all of Jocko Fuel's top-tier supplements. That's right, 30% off. Jocko Fuel is loaded with all of the good stuff and none of the bad. We're talking no added sugar, no artificial sweeteners, and absolutely no gray area or banned substances. Just pure, clean fuel to power your performances. And guys, I really want you to try some of my favorites like Jocko Go and Jocko Hydrate. This deal is only going to be available for the month of August. So use code Chael30 or go to JockoFuel.com. Don't wait. Fuel up with Jocko Fuel and crush your goals. Guys, click on the link below to make it happen. There's a very wise man came and told you guys that Conor McGregor missed the June 29th date opposite Michael Chandler because he was in rehab. Now, that very wise man was guessing. He admitted he didn't know, but as he's trying to put the pieces together, right, of missing the fight is one thing. You don't miss the press conference for the fight unless you're somewhere that would preclude you from getting to the press conference. That seems to make a level of sense. Not to mention, wherever you are, you can come in by Zoom. You don't actually have to be there. And that guy that made this tie-in was me. And I'm starting to think that guy was wrong. Now, I want to let you know, like, my idea and my contention that Conor was at rehab wasn't as scandalous as perhaps it was perceived. And it also wasn't a heavy bet that it was actually in rehab. It was more to the idea of where I don't think you are. Like, I don't think that fight was canceled for a discolored pinky toe that may or may not be broken and may or may not be attached to Conor's body. I don't believe that. I don't believe that there was an injury to any degree, even to something as small as a pinky toe, where we, the community, would not know where it happened, how it happened, and what you were doing at the time that it happened. I don't believe that. Now, that's taking an assumption that it was a training accident. If it was in a gym and a coach was there, and a sparring partner or workout partners of any degree were there to see it, I believe we would hear about that. So that would throw my theory out if this was not a training accident, if this was something around the house, where there were no witnesses, where there was nobody to speak up. It would still create a curiosity as to how and why a press conference was not attended. And it's not because that decision was already made. When that press conference was canceled, the decision to not have the fight was not already made. It's now on the table. Phone calls are starting to be made to other people to replace that match in case, but the decision was not made. There was something that happened that day that precluded Conor from physically being able to get to a specific location. I will just tell you, I did a press conference at Madison Square Garden. I mean, I got to use Madison Square Garden. It is the media mecca of the world. It was a massively successful press conference. And I did it against Wanderlei Silva, who was in Brazil. He was scheduled to be there. Something happened with his flight, something like this. Either way, he couldn't make it. We went right on with it. Had a big screen. There was Wanderlei. So there's not a part of me that believes that if Conor could have gotten to a screen and zoomed in, that they would not have moved forward with that. And all of this comes, by the way, I saw Conor over the weekend drinking. That's where this all comes from. In fact, I saw two different clips. Bald Conor. I like Bald Conor. But I don't think that Bald Conor would be at an event drinking. I don't think he was faking the drinking, by the way. Like, I don't think that was something fake in the cup. I also don't think that that was a marketing for one of his alcohol brands where he could be motivated to have something fake in the cup. I don't think Dave Feldman wants to bring a guy on, particularly a partner in a role that shows up to an event who's drinking. I don't think that. Like, that's not a great look. I can't think of anybody else in sport. There's an old man that used to get mouthy. Larry Merchant, who they should have got rid of this guy a long time ago for disrespect, right? This is the guy that did that situation with Floyd, but Larry was drunk. Larry gets drunk out of his mind at these shows. He's swerving. I mean, it is one of the pieces of entertainment for the people on the inside that know that he's sauced up. It's really interesting. Like, you'll watch him at the beginning. You'll watch him change. You'll watch his eyes start to close. You'll listen to the slurring as he's losing his ideas. There is a level of entertainment to that, I will agree. But outside of that drunk, I can't remember anybody in sport who was there in a professional manner who was drinking until I saw bald Conor. There would never be a situation where Dana or any of his staff around the cage, just for example, any situation, anytime, ever, were drinking. If that happened, that person, no matter how high their seniority, would no longer be there. So when I'm watching Conor drinking publicly, I believe it was actually alcohol, and I don't think that he would have done that if he was in rehab. The rehab would be a very serious thing. It was serious enough to miss a fight and hang your hat on the argument that I missed a fight due to a discolored pinky toe, and then never once supply any evidence to the people that it was your toe. I mean, that was part of it. Like, I don't think that Conor meant for this to get over. For some reason, our community, everybody but me, ate this up. As though it was rude that I would suggest he was in rehab or that he was somewhere else. As though I suggested I did not believe Conor. But I'm sharing a deeper thought with you guys. I don't think Conor meant for you to believe him. This is the master, who, by the way, the last time I saw him had a compound fracture in his shin. That's a real injury. And the show went on. He refused to get in the ambulance. He refused to pass up on his post-fight interview. Because he's a master entertainer and he's committed to his craft. And he delivered to the audience what he promised from bell to bell, which was entertainment. All the way until we fade to black and roll the credits. I don't believe a guy that did that is going to miss a fight because of a discolored pinky toe. And moreover, when he took a picture of the pinky toe, right? I mean, this is the big deal. This is the whole thing. If it's your pinky toe, you would show yourself in the picture. You might even do a video and you scroll down to the toe and you scroll back up. None of that happened. Conor zoomed in on a pinky toe, which may or may not be his and may or may not be broken. I don't think he was serious. I think he was trying to mess around. I think he had a whole plan for how he was going to troll the world on this. And our media gets scared. Our media is scared of Conor. I don't want to upset Conor. What if he doesn't give me an interview? Conor doesn't give you an interview in the first place. Conor doesn't know and or care who you are. I mean, I'm just sharing for you. Like, it's really weird that our media gets so scared, because for our media to accept, this would not happen anywhere else. Conor's the biggest star and the biggest draw in our sport. You go to any other sport and they go miss a major competition, right? I mean, this is the main event, guys. It's the main event on International Fight Week. You could compare that with Game 7 of the NBA. You could compare that with Brady going into the Super Bowl. It's the big one. In our industry, it's the big one. And neither of those guys would be allowed. Take a picture of a pinky toe and send it out and everybody accepts that. First off, you tease him because it's a pinky toe. In all fairness, you would tease him. With your little pinky toe, you could hobble into the Bellator event. You could hobble into the bare knuckle event. You couldn't hobble into a press conference that was 5 miles up the road from where you live. I find that hard to believe, which Conor knew you'd find that hard to believe. The whole thing was designed, I think, for you to have fun with it. I think he took a picture of a toe, put it out, knowing that people would come back and say, is it your toe? How come you're not in the photo? How did you go on with a compound fracture where all you had to do was talk? All you were doing with Joe Rogan, your entire argument for being able to do that is all I have to do is talk. I can do that with a bad leg. How do you have that, but you can't show it to a press conference where all you have to do is talk? It's the same thing, which he knows. Conor knows. I think he was playing with us. I think that was the first step in a direction of a great storyline that he was working in our media because they were so scared. They accepted it. I not only don't believe the story, I don't believe that Conor ever meant to have people believe the story.